really soft, which is, I think, a South African brand. And then you'll get a lot of people selling, tomatoes and things, usually $1 for a whole bunch. And they'll tend to come from car to car, hoping to sell. I see on the floor there, looks like they've got lemons and guavas. That's kind of nice. So Zim also has quite an amazing climate, and so it used to be known as the breadbasket of Africa. So we used to grow so much food here that people used to say, I don't know how true it was, but we used to say that we could supply the whole of Africa with food. It's not the case now. I think they import quite a lot, but there is signs that stuff is reviving in some ways. And so hopefully it'll become the breadbasket again, because that would be amazing. A bunch of graders on the side. They must be getting ready to do some road work of some variety, which will be nice. There's a big truck with an Arsenal sticker on it. Arsenal friends will be very happy. Also, I don't know if you saw, there were police on the side, and that's it's not uncommon here for kind of, it seems very random where police are, and then you have this random police stop. They check to see that everything on your car matches a very particular requirement. So on your car, like on this car, I noticed you've got reflective stickers on the back. You've got to have 2 reflective red stickers. I think it's just 2, and then at the front you've got to have 2 silver reflective stickers. And if you don't have that, you can get fined. Look at this place before they go past us. I mean, look at that. I mean, just huge places. I don't know if you saw that, because it was kind of random, but they are just massive places being built along this road. And I don't know if it's politicians inside or whether it's people outside, but I mean, those are ginormous homes. And it's just very, very interesting. So when they are done, they are going to be colossal houses. But yeah, there's another one. I mean, look at that. Just nice big homes. That one not as big as that other one. And that probably gave everybody seasickness. But let's see if you can see anything through there. But yeah, just big old places, and so obviously the building industry here seems to keep going, which is good. Right, here we go. Now there's I think, now you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think a lot of the industry that I'm seeing around here, I think a lot of this is new industry, and it's probably new in that some of these other ones have died off, and these new ones have come in. So once when Zimbabwe initially crashed, and basically there was incredible hyperinflation. Many industries went under. You just couldn't cope with it, and the government was trying to stop the inflation, but they were also, at that time, money was being printed, and so it was just like exacerbating so much of the problem. I was teaching at that time, and my entire salary, basically, you would cash it and try and spend it the first day you got it, because otherwise its value halved within just a very short period of time. and it got in the country. It got to a point where basically, if you didn't you could almost stand in a queue to buy something, and by the time you got to the front of the queue, that price could have changed. I remember what was common practice. I don't know if it still is here. What was common practice here is over Christmas you would get a 13th paycheck, and that was your bonus. And what that meant was, I think I'm supposed to turn here. What that meant was is that you got this 13th check, and it was wonderful, because usually you could then buy something that you usually couldn't buy because you were surviving month by month. And so on this particular Christmas, I think it was the Christmas just before we left, we got a 13th check, and Amy was super excited. Went to town to go and buy some things that she had on her list. And I think there was, she'll correct me on this one, but I think there was only 5 things on her list, and she thought, well, at least I'll be able to get 3 or 4 of them because I have this money in hand. And she, in fact, I think we even had extra money because I think her folks had sent us some money and we had exchanged it. So she was looking forward to being able to go and get some stuff for over the Christmas period of time. And she went to a shop, and then she either discovered they didn't have, and when they did have it, it was so highly priced she couldn't afford it. And she left the shop in just tears because she had all this money, or what she thought was all this money, with a double paycheck and money that her folks had sent, and she couldn't buy a thing. And she literally came back in tears because she couldn't buy anything. It's just a remembrance of like how tough it was, you know, and it just people. It was really hard, but at the same time, we saw God doing crazy, amazing things. I mean, personally, we saw multiplication of baby formula. We saw some food that we thought was just completely gone, and then yet it stayed. There was lots in the fridge, in the cupboard. It just kept being there, and so I think it's interesting that in the midst of a complete crisis, and there was no human way of making it better, we still saw God's hand moving mightily in it. So that was fun, but that all stems from me spotting a bunch of different businesses and things. But Zimbabwe's gone through ebbs and flows, a lot of ebbs and flows over the last 20 years, and the people are pretty resilient, and they make a plan. But I am challenged by that thought often of like not to become such a plan maker that I forget who the provider is, and that's a real important part of the journey, I believe. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed seeing a little bit. I hope you've see this. I'll have to probably do a preview on this and see if I found this, and I've actually gone way past where I needed to go, so I think I need to do a turnaround.